Good evening, everybody. Hell's Unicorn here, and I have got some fantastic news, ladies and gentlemen. It appears that Ron Paul has actually pulled out a victory in the Louisiana Caucuses, which were just held today. I have a link in the description to the article, and I'm going to read all of the important points. I'm not going to read the whole article because I want to get this over with quickly. Representative Ron Paul of Texas dominated the Louisiana Republican caucuses held Saturday, ergo today. The results guarantee he will have a strong presence in the state's delegation to the Republican National Convention in August, even if he has little hope of winning the party's presidential nomination. Typical Associated Press / mainstream media bullshit there at the end, but the first 3/4 of that are what count. And then we'll read a little bit more of this. The caucuses were held in the state's 6 newly drawn congressional districts. While the presidential preferences of the delegates were not identified on the caucus ballots, delegates who backed the Libertarian congressman, who is now the only one of Mitt Romney's adversaries still standing, won the lion's share of the contest, carrying the 1st, 2nd, 5th, and 6th congressional districts, ergo 4 out of 6. Now, according to my own sources on the Daily Paul, not the Daily Caller, there was also a sort of de facto tie in District 4 between Romney's people and Paul's people. So technically it's 4.5 out of 6, but, whatever. And then there was a victory in the 3rd district for holdouts for Newt Gingrich or something like that. It was a unity slate between him, and that will basically go to Romney, but it doesn't matter because basically the party's state convention will be controlled by Ron Paul, so all 17 of the delegates will be going to him, which means out of all the delegates committed thus far, he is in the lead. There are 46 delegate slots in Louisiana. Ron Paul has won 17 of them. Mitt Romney has 6 so far, 5 from his primary results, and then an additional one from his victory in District 3. And there will be 10 delegates allotted to Rick Santorum. The rest, of which I think there's 12 left that are not committed yet, maybe 14, will be decided at a later date. Hopefully Paul will be able to pick up some of those and solidify his lead, and that will be the 4th official state that will be a Paul victory, taking him closer to that magic number of 5 states with pluralities of delegates. Now, skipping down to the end of the article, this is one little thing I want to read before I sign off here. While one paragraph before that. Jason Dorr, the executive director of the state party, said that he would bring the controversy about the voter guide. There was some controversy about a voter guide, basically, that was that they thought steered all the voters to Ron Paul's delegates, as though they were going to choose anything else other than theirs in the process. But anyway, while congratulating the Paul campaign for apparently capturing their first state delegation in this presidential election cycle through an excellent get-out-the-vote effort today, Sarah Roy, chairwoman of the Greater New Orleans Republicans, characterized it as an odd and undemocratic result that would embarrass and distract both Romney and Governor Bobby Jindal. The result of this ill-conceived and confusing caucus, they wouldn't be calling it ill-conceived and confusing if Romney had won. No matter how confusing it actually was, if Romney had won, it would not have been as such. Clearly, it does not represent the will of the vast majority of Louisiana Republican voters, as Ron Paul recently received only 6% of the vote in the Louisiana presidential primary. We're going to stop right there. You know something? I'm just going to say this right now. Thank God for caucuses. All right? Thank God for them. That is how you defeat the tyrannical will of democracy, mob rule, democratic process. When something is undemocratic, you know what I say in response? Hell yes. Because usually when we put things up to a vote and everybody gets a vote, the masses are asses and the asses carry the day. It is the uninformed who show up and just pull the lever for whoever they heard about on TV. It's the informed people that show up at the caucuses and state their case for their candidate. As far as I'm concerned, every state in this nation should be forced into a caucus system. and that only those willing to put in the extra time to defend their candidate should be allowed to vote. As far as I'm concerned, only people who pay taxes should be voting. But anyway, aside my personal indignation at this stupid journalist who wrote this article and these stupid party officials that are whining and complaining because they didn't get their way, I'm a very happy man today. And I'm just going to leave it at that. So until next time, with prudence to myself and benevolence to all of you, good evening.